Welcome to Ayurveda and Spirituality with your host, Alakananda Ma, a renowned Ayurvedic expert and a graduate of a top London medical school. She is the principal of Alundi Ayurveda Gurukula, a unique apprenticeship-style school in Boulder, Colorado. She is a spiritual mother, teacher, flower essence maker, and storyteller. Join us as we uncover the timeless principles of Ayurveda, discover practical tips for enhancing vitality, and explore the deeper dimensions of spirituality that intertwine with the ancient science of life.
So welcome, everyone. Welcome to Satsang. Satsang is a meeting of hearts, a gathering of friends to inquire into the truth. Today, we are looking at the amazing chapter 7 of Chandogya Upanishad, featuring Narada. Sage Narada, or Narada Muni, is quite the character, especially as he starts to appear in the Puranas and then the actual Narada Sutras. He is maybe the Mullah Nasruddin of the Vedic tradition. He is maybe even a little bit the buffoon. He is the stirrer who goes around stirring up troubles so people learn stuff. He wanders around with a Veena, is it Sarananda? He wanders around with a Veena singing, promoting bhakti. But this is an early appearance of Narada, and he's really appearing as the innocent and the questioner. He's appearing as the one who knows he doesn't know, and he's coming to his teacher, Sanatkumāra. So here Narada approaches Sanatkumāra and says, "Venerable sir, teach me." And he says, "So what do you know already? And then I'll teach you the rest." So Narada says, he's got his PhD. He's the Renaissance man of the era. He knows all that there is to be known. "Venerable sir, I know the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, Atharvana as the fourth Veda, the epic and ancient law as the fifth, the Veda of the Vedas, that is grammar, the propitiation of the fathers, mathematics, the science of portents, chronology, logic, ethics, and politics, the science of the gods, the science of sacred knowledge, the science of elemental spirits, the science of weapons, astronomy, the science of serpents, and the fine arts. This, venerable sir, I know. But that's all just words. I know all this stuff, but I don't know the self. I've heard from those like you that one who knows the self crosses over sorrow. So I have learned everything that there is to be known, and I am still just as miserable as I was before. Please help me, venerable sir, to cross over to the other side of sorrow. And the reply is, this is true. Whatever you've learned is only a name. We also see this in the teachings of Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, where he talks about the science of the void. So Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav talks about the void, how everything we see here is where God has pulled back the hem of his robe to make a little bit of room for a universe to appear. God makes a little void for everything to appear in. And all of this stuff, all the mathematics and science and astrology and astronomy, and all this stuff, says Rabbi Nachman, is the science of the void. Kind of the same idea, isn't it? Everything you've learned is just a name, nama. And for the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, the Atharva Veda, the epic, the ancient law, the Vedas of the Vedas, the propitiation of the fathers, the signs of numbers, all of this stuff is just nama. It's name. So meditate on name. He who meditates on nama as Brahman becomes independent as far as name goes. The one who meditates on nama as Brahman. Okay, is there anything greater than nama? Yep, sure. There is something greater than nama. Can you tell me that? Venerable Sir? Vag, speech. Vagvanam no bhuyasi. Speech is definitely greater than name. It is through speech that we know the Vedas, the Veda of Vedas, all the stuff you've learned, the science of the elementals, the science of rulership, astronomy, the science of snake charming, the fine arts, heaven and earth, air and space, water and heat, gods and men, beasts and birds, grass and trees, animals, worms, flies and ants, the right and the wrong, the true and the false, the good and the bad, the pleasant and the unpleasant. If there were no speech, we could not know right from wrong. We could not know true from false. We could not know good from bad, pleasant from unpleasant. It's speech, vak, that makes all this known. Meditate on speech. He who meditates on speech as Brahman becomes independent so far as speech reaches. He who meditates on speech as Brahman. So we can assume that this chapter kind of goes like Sadananda's meditation course. Like he's given you an object and you're going to go and meditate on that for a week, and then you're going to come back and get the next step. So he's going to go and meditate on speech, and then he's going to come back and say, okay, is there anything greater than speech? Oh, yeah. Mana. Mind is definitely greater than speech. For as in one closed fist, you can hold 2 amlaki fruits, so does mind hold both speech and name. For when one through mind has in mind to learn the sacred hymns, then he learns them. If he has mind to perform sacred works, he performs them. When he has in mind to desire for sons and cattle, he desires them. Whatever he has in mind to desire in this world and yonder, then he desires them. Mind is indeed the self. Mind is indeed the world. Mind is indeed Brahman. Meditate on mind. So that's the assignment for the next week till the meditation class comes around. And he who meditates on mind as Brahman becomes independent as far as mind reaches. He who meditates on mind as Brahman. Okay, then, what's greater than mind? Is there something greater than mind? Yeah, there is. Sankalpa. Will is greater than mind for sure. For when you will, then you reflect. You speak, and in speech you utter name. So from will comes thought, from thought comes speech, from speech comes name. The sacred hymns are included in name, and the sacred works in the sacred hymns. All these verily center in will, have will as their soul, abide in will. Sankalpa. Heaven and earth were formed through will. Air and space were formed through will. Water and heat were formed through will. Through their having been willed, rain becomes willed. Through rain having been willed, food becomes willed. Through food having been willed, living creatures are willed. Through living creatures having been willed, sacred hymns become willed. Through sacred hymns having been willed, sacred works become willed. Through sacred works having been willed, the world becomes willed. Through the world having been willed, Everything becomes willed, sankalpa. Such is will. Meditate on sankalpa, will. He who meditates on will as Brahman will obtain the worlds he has willed, himself being permanent, the permanent worlds, himself unwavering, the unwavering worlds. As far as will goes, so far he's independent. He who meditates on will as Brahman. He goes and does that assignment. Is there anything, Venerable Sir, greater than will? Yeah, there is. Okay, can you tell me? Chittam. Thought is more than will. When you think, in order to will, you have to think. Then you will. Then you reflect in manas. Then you utter speech, vak. Then you utter name, nama. This is starting to remind me of I was almost thinking of like the 12 Days of Christmas, or just some of these like number songs where you just keep adding on to all the numbers, right? And you keep getting more and more every time. So thought, chitta, is more than sankalpa. When one thinks, then he wills. Then he reflects with manas. Then he utters vak. Then he utters nama. All these center in chitta, have chitta for their goal, abide in chitta. Therefore, even if you have a lot of learning, but you don't have chitta, you're not thoughtful, people will say, oh, they're a nobody, whatever they know. If he did know, he wouldn't be so unthinking. If he's thoughtful, even if he doesn't know much, people want to listen to him. Truly, that thoughtfulness is the center of everything. Thought is their soul. Thought is their support. Meditate on thought. He who meditates on thought, chitta, as Brahman, he obtains the worlds he has thought, himself being permanent, the permanent worlds, himself established, the established worlds, himself unwavering, the unwavering worlds. As far as chitta goes, thus far he's independent. So often meditate on chitta. Comes back next week. So, Venerable Sir, what's greater than chitta? Is there something greater than chitta? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Dhyana, contemplation, meditation, is definitely greater than thought. The earth contemplates, the atmosphere contemplates, the heaven contemplates, the waters contemplate, the mountains contemplate, gods and men contemplate, dhyana. Therefore, he among men here attains greatness. He seems to have obtained a share of the reward of contemplation. Now, the small people are quarrelsome, abusive, and slandering. The great have obtained a share of the reward of contemplation. Meditate on contemplation. He who meditates on contemplation as Brahman, so far as contemplation goes, he is independent. So go off and meditate on dhyana. Comes back. All right. Is there anything greater than dhyana? Yep. There is something greater than dhyana. So what is it? Vijnana. Understanding is greater than dhyana. By understanding, by vijnan, one understands all the Vedas, the ancient law, all the stuff you've studied. I'm going to keep reading it all over. But it goes back to the worms, flies, and ants, the right and the wrong, the true and the false, the good and the bad, the pleasant and the unpleasant, the food and the drink, this world and the next. You understand this all with vijnana. Meditate on vijnana. He who meditates on vijnana as Brahman, he attains the worlds of vijnana, of knowledge. As far as understanding goes, so far he is independent. He who meditates on understanding as Brahman. All right, next class. Is there anything, Venerable Sir, greater than understanding? Yes. Okay, can you tell me? Balam, strength. Strength is greater than understanding. One strong man causes 100 men of understanding to tremble. When one becomes strong, he becomes a rising man. If he rises, he serves. If he serves, he draws near. A good student. By drawing near, he becomes a seer, a hearer, a thinker, a perceiver, a doer, and an understander. By Balam the earth stands, by Balam the atmosphere, by Balam the heavens, by Balam the mountains, by Balam gods and men, by Balam beasts, birds, grass, trees, animals, together with worms, flies, and ants. By Balam, by strength, the world stands. Meditate on strength. Sayu Balam Brahmityu Paste, Yavat Balasya Gatam. He who meditates on strength is Brahman. As far as strength goes, thus far he is independent. He who meditates on strength as Brahman. And now we're going to get into that same cycle of important entities that we got into last time. What is greater than Balam? Annam. Where do you get your strength from? From Annam, from food. For food is greater than strength. If one doesn't eat for 10 days, you might be still alive, but you'll be a non-seer, non-hearer, non-thinker, non-understander, non-doer, a non-knower. But as soon as you get food, you'll become a seer, a hearer, a thinker, an understander, a doer, and a knower. Meditate on food. Meditate on food as Brahman and attain the worlds of food and drink as far as food reaches. So far, he who meditates on food as Brahman has freedom, has unlimited freedom. Next lesson. So is there anything greater than food? Yup, there is. Appa. Apovava annad bhuyasya. Water is greater than food because without no water, no food. When there's not enough rain, all living creatures sicken with the thought that food will become scarce. But when there's good rain, living creatures rejoice in the thought that food will become abundant. It's just water that assumes all the different forms of the earth, the atmosphere, the sky, the mountains, gods and men, beasts and birds, grass and trees, animals together with worms, flies, and ants. Water, indeed, is all these forms. Meditate on water. Meditate on water as Brahman. You'll obtain all your desires and become satisfied. As far as water reaches, so he who meditates on water as Brahman has unlimited freedom. Think about it. So, next class, Venerable Sir, anything greater than water? Yep, there is. Tejas. See, we're going through this same cycle of food, water, Tejas that we went through before. Heat. Tejas is greater than water, for it seizes hold of the wind and warms the akash, the space. Then people say, it's hot, it's burning hot, it will rain. Thus does heat show this sign first and creates water. So with lightning flashing upwards and across the sky, thunders roll. Therefore people say, there is lightning, there is thunder, therefore it will rain. Heat first indicates this and creates water. Meditate on heat, on tejas. He who meditates on tejas as Brahman, he verily, radiant himself, tejasvi, radiant himself. Tejasvi vaisa tejas vatolokan. He, radiant himself, attains lokan bhasvato pata, Tamaskam, the radiant, shining worlds freed from darkness. As far as Tejas reaches, he who meditates on Tejas as Brahman has unlimited freedom. Are we getting close yet? Venerable Sir, is there anything greater than heat? Yeah, there is. Akash, space, is greater than Tejas. For in the Akash, in the space, exists the sun and the moon, the lightning, the stars and the fire. Through space we call, through space we hear. Through space we answer. In space we enjoy ourselves, and in space we don't enjoy ourselves. In space we are born, and unto space we are born. Meditate on space. Akasham. He who meditates on Akash as Brahman, he attains the worlds of Akash and light, unconfined and wide extending. As far as Akash, as space goes, he who meditates on space as Brahman has unlimited freedom. We're going to go away and meditate on space, and still not really it. Is there something greater than space? Smara. Memory, indeed, is more than space. If many people come together and they have no memory, they won't hear anyone, they won't think, they won't understand. If they remember, then they would hear, then they would think, then they would understand. We need memory to recognize our sons, our cattle. If we lose our memory, my friend would tell the story of her grandfather who got Parkinson's disease with dementia and was titillated by this attractive woman who would be balancing his checkbook, who was his wife he'd been married to his whole life. He enjoyed the fact that there was a beautiful woman balancing his checkbook, but he couldn't remember who she was. So we need memory to discern to know which are our sons, our children, which are our cattle. Meditate on memory. He who meditates on memory is Brahman. As far as memory reaches, so far he has unlimited freedom. He who meditates on memory is Brahman. Is there anything greater than memory? Smaram. Asha. Yes, Asha is greater than memory. Asha, hope, is greater than memory. We need to be kindled by hope in order to memorize all this stuff, which remember, Narada has just spent probably 12 years memorizing all the stuff he's memorized at least. But why? Why do we bother to remember it? Because of Asha, because of hope. Hope is greater than memory. When kindled by hope, then memory learns the sacred hymns, performs sacrifices, desires sons and cattle, desires this world and the other. Meditate on hope. He who meditates on hope as Brahman. Through hope, all his desires are fulfilled. Asha. His prayers do not go in vain. As far as hope reaches, so far he has unlimited freedom. He who meditates on hope as Brahman. So goes off, spends a week meditating on hope, comes back, next lesson. So is there anything greater than hope? Yes, there is. So tell me. Prana. Prana is greater than hope. Even as all the spokes are fastened in the hub of the wheel, so on this prana, everything is fastened. The great analogy that Raghudas gave me on the day that I met him. Amazing. Even as the spokes are fastened in the hub, so on this prana all is fastened. Life moves by life breath. Prana pranena yati, prana pranam dadati, pranaya dadati, prano hi pitta, prano mata, prano bhrata, prana shvasa, prana acharya, prano brahmana. Life moves by prana. Prana gives life. It gives life to living creatures. Prana is father. Prana is mother. Prana is brother. Prana is sister. Prana is the teacher. Prana is Brahman. If you answer unworthily to a father or a mother, a brother or sister, a teacher or a Brahman, people say, shame on you. You are the slayer of your father, your mother, your brother, the slayer of your sister. You are the slayer of your teacher. You are the slayer of Brahman, because it is prana that is in all these beings. And so we must answer them very properly, very courteously. But when the prana has left all these beings, you shove them together with a poker and burn up every bit of them. And people wouldn't say, you just killed your father or your mother or your brother or your sister or your teacher or your Brahman, because prana has left them. It's just a corpse. Prana is all this. Verily, he who sees this, thinks this, understands this, becomes an excellent speaker. Even if people should say to him, you're an excellent speaker, he would say, yeah, I am an excellent speaker. You shouldn't deny it. But he verily, he shouldn't deny it. But he verily speaks excellently. What makes you an excellent speaker? You can't be lying. What makes you an excellent speaker is to speak excellently of truth. This is Narada's thing. Narada is the one who speaks of truth, sings of truth, goes around the universe stirring up trouble and playing tricks and games to speak of truth. But I, Venerable Sir, I want to speak excellently of truth. But for that, you have to desire to understand the truth. Venerable Sir, I do desire to understand the truth. Verily, when one understands, then he speaks the truth. One who doesn't understand doesn't speak the truth. One who understands speaks the truth. But you have to desire to understand understanding. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand understanding. So Shankaracharya says there's a difference between the empirical truth, Rupatraya, and the metaphysical truth, between factual truth and ultimate significance, or as we would say in Buddhism, the union of the two truths, the relative truth and the absolute truth. Verily, yada vai manute at vijnanati, namatva vijnanati, madvaiva vijnanati. When one thinks, then he understands. One who doesn't think doesn't understand. Only he who thinks understands. But you have to really want to understand thinking. Do you really want it? Yes, I really want it. So then it comes to Shraddha. It comes to faith. In order to think, to understand, you have to have this Shraddha, this faith, which Paul Tillich called ultimate concern. It's this deep care, this deep passion for the truth. It's not believing in things or postulates. Verily, when one has Shraddha, then he thinks. If you have no Shraddha, you don't think. Only one with Shraddha thinks. But you have to really want to understand Shraddha. Do you really want it? Yes. Okay. So now it comes to Sthita. Yaravai nististati atta shraddhati. When you have this stita, when you have this steadfastness, then you have faith. You don't have steadfastness. You don't have faith. Only one who has steadfastness has faith. You have to really want to understand steadfastness. I really want it. So that comes to activity. Yadavai karotyata nistishtati. When one is active, one has steadfastness. Without being active, you don't have steadfastness. Steadfastness comes from activity. You have to really want to understand. I do. Yadavai sukham labate takaroti. When you obtain happiness, sukham, then you're active. If you don't obtain happiness, you're not active. Only one who obtains happiness is active. You have to really want to understand happiness. I do really want it. Yovai bhuma tatsukam. The infinite is happiness. There is no happiness in the finite. Only the infinite is happiness. You must desire to understand the infinite. Yes, I really want to understand the infinite. Where one sees nothing else, hears nothing else, understands nothing else, that is the infinite. When you see something else, hear something else, understand something else, that is the finite. The infinite is the same as the immortal. The finite is the same as the immortal. So on what is the infinite established? On its own greatness, or not even. For the infinite is below, above, behind, in front. It is to the south, it is to the north. It is all this world. Now, the instruction about self-sense. Aham evadastat, aham uparishtat, aham pashat, aham purushtat, aham dakshinata, aham uttarata, aham evadam sarvamiti. The infinite is below, above, behind, in front, to the south, to the north. It is all this world. I indeed am below. I am above. I am behind. I am in front. I am to the south. I am to the north. I am all this world. And so we come to Atma. Finally, after threading through layer upon peeling, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of the onion. Atata Atmadesha Eva Atmaeva Dashtat. It comes to the instruction of the self. The self, Atma, is below, the self is above, the self is behind, the self is in front, the self is to the south, the self is to the north, the self indeed is all this world. Verily, he who sees this, who thinks this, who understands this, he has pleasure in the self, he has delight in the self, he has union in the self, he has joy in the self, he is self-ruled. He has unlimited freedom in all the worlds. If you don't get this, you're always dependent and you live in the perishable worlds. For him who sees this, who thinks this, who understands this, prana comes from self, hope from self, memory from self, space from self, tejas from self, water from self, appearance and disappearance from self, food from self, strength from self, understanding from self, meditation from self, thought from self, determination from self, mind from self, speech from self, name from self, the sacred hymns, the sacred works, the whole world, it all comes from Atma. Tadesha Shloka na pasho mrutyam pashyati narogam nota dukkatam sarvam ha pashyati sarvam apnoti sarvasa. He who sees this does not see death, na pasho mrityam pashyati, nor illness, na rogam nota dukkatam, nor any sorrow. He who sees this, sarvam pashyati, he who sees this sees sarvam, sees everything. Sarvam apnoti sarvasya, sarvasha, he obtains everything everywhere. Sa ekada bhavati, trida bhavati, panchada, saptada, navada, chaiva, punas, chakadasha smrta. He is one and can become threefold, fivefold, sevenfold, ninefold, 11-fold, 111-fold, and 20,000-fold. This is how we were talking earlier about the Sadguru. Not meaning a person called Sadguru, but someone like Raghudas or Maharaji Neem Karoli Baba or someone that is a Sadguru. Because they are established in the one, they can multiply themselves and express all these different aspects at the same time. It's incredible. Unless you're actually around such a person and you see it happening, you'd never believe it could happen. That you can be with someone who is completely one and 20,000-fold. We had the chance to experience that, hanging out around Raghudas and Godavari Mataji. When nourishment is pure, nature is pure. When nature is pure, memory is firm. When memory is firm, the knots of the heart are released. To such a one who has his stains wiped away, the venerable Sanatkumāra shows the further shore beyond darkness. Him they call Skanda. Yes, they call him Skanda, the one who has crossed over to the further shore. So that is the Russian doll chapter, the 7th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, peeling layer upon layer, opening doll upon doll upon doll. There's two kinds of Russian dolls. There's the one that you open the teeniest, tiniest Russian doll, and there's nothing inside. And there's one you open and open and open and open until you get to the final teeny tiny Russian doll who cannot be opened. It's the fullness and the emptiness, the all and the nothing. The self that is established everywhere and nowhere. And so in this journey of the 7th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, all these layers are unfolded. Any questions or thoughts?
I had just a clarification, Ma. I heard like the last one or the most innermost one, I don't know which way it's going, um, was Atman,
Yep, the self.
the self. And so is that like that's like the individual like soul, I don't know. I mean, for a lack of I mean, I know Atman is yeah, so it's just that individual soul, that like mind stream that I guess it's a little Buddhist, but like that continuation of consciousness. Is that, am I mixing too many things? I was
There's
just trying.
there's Jivatman, which is
Uh-huh.
the individual self.
Oh, okay.
There's Paramatman, which is the supreme self, which is the self
Mm-hmm.
of all. And
Is it the self what?
the Jivatman is the
Mm-hmm.
individual. This
Mm-hmm.
Jivatman you can get a teeny tiny peek at in meditation. And
Mm-hmm.
you can at least peek at the mirror and see the reflection of the candle flame. You can get a teeny tiny peek. But Jivatman is completely inseparable from Paramatman, just as if
Mm-hmm.
when you have space inside a clay pot,
Mm-hmm.
it's not any separate than the space outside the clay pot. In
Mm-hmm.
the same way, Jivatma, the individual self, is not in any way separate, distinct, or different from Paramatman, the supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And then in other verses and in other Upanishads, it is stated, truly this Atman is Brahman. I remember the first time I read that, I was in a Christian ashram up in the Western Ghats in Kerala, and I had been given a little like cave hermitage to live in, little hut. And I was up there reading the Upanishads, and I read, truly this Atman is Brahman, and the world shattered. When you read that the first time and you're all alone in a beautiful place and it penetrates you,
Mm-hmm.
it's yes, it's earth shattering. And
Wow.
you all for a second you almost see the flame itself, that you can mostly just see the reflection of that flame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Ma. That was a perfect explanation for me right now. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Ayurveda and Spirituality with Alakananda Ma. We hope today's exploration has ignited a spark of curiosity and insight within you. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a 5-star review and share it with a friend. For more enlightening discussions and practical wisdom on Ayurveda and spirituality, subscribe and join our Facebook group, Alundi Ayurveda. To allow us to continue sharing valuable content, consider donating to Alundi Ashram. The links will be in the show notes. Until next time, may you walk the path of Ayurveda with grace and embrace the light of spiritual wisdom in your journey.
Trayambakam yajamahe, Sugandham